Whether you believe him or not, or whether you understand why he said it, because the lingering hatred he's had for Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon over the screw job in Montreal that basically ended his career in WWE and probably eventually ended Owen's life because he wasn't there to protect his brother from that fall that killed him. Bret Hart has not only gone over the edge, he's gone into lawsuit territory that even if I repeat it, well, you might as well sue me. I'm repeating what he said. According to Bro Bible and other published reports, former WWE star Bret Hart says Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels had a sexual relationship. Okay. Bret Hart, who was at one time one of the most famous stars in the entire WWE, said the allegations at a podcast on the weekend. Hart, whose family is legendary across the wrestling world, was dubbed the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. While Hart is still revered among many fans, these days he's most known for being perhaps the biggest hater in wrestling history. Hart gives interview after interview about how he hits everyone from Bill Goldberg, who could cuss him in his last WCW match of prominence, to Vince McMahon, to even modern day talent. In a recent interview, however, Hart took things a step further when he made some serious allegations regarding McMahon and rival Shawn Michaels, who were at the center of the infamous Montreal ScrewJob in 1997 at Survivor Series. As wrestling fans know, the Montreal ScrewJob involved Hart dropping the WWE, then WWF World Heavyweight title to Michaels in a match where he was not informed the outcome ahead of time. Now, as Hart explains, there may well have been a deeper reason for McMahon and Michaels looking out for one another. Now, on the Johnny I Pro show, he said, when Shawn was in the ring talking about he lost some part of himself or he was going to finally smile, I remember Vince had a tear rolling down his cheek. I remember watching it and I'm going, I think there's more going on here than between these two guys, Hart said on the program. Honestly, I'm just being honest and blunt, but I suspected, and now I really have serious, I think that Shawn and Vince were sleeping with each other. I'm just telling you, I think it's very close to the truth here. Shawn and Vince were lovers. I'm being dead honest. When I look back, I get caught between two lovers, and I got shafted and screwed over. And Shawn was so envious and jealous of my position, he finally had to sleep with Vince to get it. Well, see where this is busted out quite a bit, because in 1996, they had that marquee match that had nothing to do with Bret leaving. Bret wasn't going to leave, and they took the belt off Shawn right after in the Stone Cold Steve Austin match. I would say it was Shawn if he was right here. I would actually really like to have Shawn come clean and say, look, we were lovers, because I'm sure they were. If I saw Vince or Shawn here, I would say, I think your guys were lovers. Now, according to Bro Bible, that's quite the bold accusation. But hey, that's not all Hart said on the show. He also claimed that pro wrestling is too fake these days. Current WWE star Sheamus can't throw a work punch. Hart revealed that he once punched a girl in the face at a Rod Stewart concert, and he said that Ric Flair's famous low blow spot looks dumb. Anything else you want to say, Brett? As someone who self-identifies as a hater, I'm honestly just impressive. Hart is on the generational run of hating. I don't know how he could possibly show his face at a WWE show. Everybody has to hate him by now. And if you don't know, just give it time, because according to Bret Hart, everybody and everything is awful, except for him, of course. Well, that's only one person's perspective. I think that Bret is really going through some, changes I really don't want to talk too much about. But the video is there online for everyone to see, and it's like in it was like a 90-minute program on the Johnny iPro show. Now, according to Yahoo Entertainment, written by Shunak Chakrabarti of Clutch Points, he dropped another bombshell named at both of them. Now, with Vince no longer associated with WWE since involvement in the Giselle Grant lawsuit, the former WWE champion is rarely mentioned by current or former stars. However, recently speaking in the Johnny iPro show, he opened up on the Heartbreak Kid's relationship with McMahon. Now, McMahon's always shared a special bond with Heartbreak Kid, which was evident in the creative book and decisions. The above comments came after McMahon allegedly cried after watching Michael relinquish his WWE title. Now, in the same interview on the Johnny I Pro show, he shared his thought on Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hart called a do out for never passing the torch to anybody. Of course, Hogan refused to lose the belt to Bret, but Yokozuna. Roddy Piper knew how to make a hero, Hart said. I was trying to, in the old days, trying to climb up to the next level, and Roddy was really the first guy to reach down and pull someone like me up to the next level and pass that torch. In contrast to guys like Jake Roberts and Hulk Hogan, who never passed the torch to anybody, all he did is take and take and take and never even help anybody, two of the biggest pieces of shit in wrestling. Even though Hart is still going strong at 68, Hulk Hogan passed away recently in July, whereas Jake Roberts, 70, has fought many health problems. So it's not for me to judge, but ladies and gentlemen, he's had I don't know what's exactly going on in his mind to say that. What would Shawn Michaels gain by sleeping with Vince McMahon? He would have something to gain by sleeping with Stephanie McMahon. I'm looking at you, Triple H. You know what I'm saying? So Vince was looking at the next superstar. Like I said, there was a process going on here. The Ultimate Warrior screwed him over for money. Never came back. Hogan left for WCW. Bret was carrying the company for years, but he was big internationally, but he wasn't big in the States. And having Shawn Michaels, this was long before the Click and long before Generation X. It was like that 96, 97, where Vince McMahon is looking for the next big thing. Who would have thought Mick Foley would be the next big thing? The Undertaker could only do so much because the Undertaker didn't have that sexual connection with the audience, because when people saw Shawn Michaels going back to the Rockers, Marty Jannetty, we put through the glass. I don't think Shawn Michaels needed to sleep with anybody besides the women, just for a pastime. But why didn't Bret Hart say that years ago after he broke up and he went to WCW? That's something Eric Bischoff would have looked at. Everybody was on Bret's side, Mick Foley, Rick Rude, all these different people, Undertaker even. But to say that, I don't think, if any kind of, like Pat Patterson's casting couch was long gone, no offense, him and Garvin there, eh? Pat Patterson, a known homosexual, who certain wrestlers he got over by the casting couch through Patterson. That's an allegation that should be looked into more, like Sylvain Grenier or whatever like that. So all I'm saying like this, if you think this is a shoot, yes, it's a shoot. How much of this is reality, and how much of this did he find condoms in the dressing room? Did he find people talking way too long? Was this like a kind of a bad version of the last 20 minutes of American Beauty? Kevin Spacey character and the Chris Cooper character. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, you never know in wrestling. You never know, because am I kayfabe right now, or am I telling you the truth? We don't really know. So Bret Hart thought Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels were bum pals. Welcome to November in Canada. Anything can happen. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here, we're a wrestling podcast. Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.